I'm Roxie with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are all into musical theater, then this is the place to be. So Cynthia Erivo having her superstar moment, and we will get to that in a minute. But Cynthia Erivo made her Broadway debut as Celie in The Color Purple, and that won her a Tony. She's also an Emmy and Grammy award-winning entertainer, so she is just an Oscar shy of becoming an EGOT on that very short list. She is nominated for an Oscar this year for her role as Elphaba in Wicked, and she's been nominated for an Oscar before for her role as Harriet Tubman in Harriet. Now, Wicked has just become a smash hit. I loved Wicked. It did win a Golden Globe for like biggest, best box office hit. And she and Ariana Grande were nominated for Golden Globes for their roles. They didn't win, but now they are nominated for Oscars in their respective roles. And we'll see if this is her year to win the Oscar. I was kind of shocked that they were nominated this year for Oscars because the movie isn't done. The movie has a second part coming out in November of this year, 2025. And I think the second half is like darker and juicier and more compelling for the characters. I mean, not that I didn't love the movie, but I just think it maybe shows, you know, a different side to their character and just is more compelling. And so I don't know if they'll be nominated next year again for their roles, or, you know, this was kind of their first bite at the apple, only bite at the apple. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Then she had a great Grammy performance giving a tribute to Quincy Jones. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. She is hosting the Tonys at Radio City this summer. I am so glad. This is a breath of fresh air. No snub to Ariana DeBose, but she's been doing it for the last 2-3 years, and we needed somebody new. It was time for her to pass that torch. Let's just say that. And then finally, Jesus Christ Superstar. Yes, she is starring as Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl this summer. Yes, you heard that right. Now, a couple of years ago, Morgan James did a concept album with all females singing these iconic roles. I did a video on that. I will link it below. Go check that out if you want my full thoughts on that. But Morgan James sang the role of Jesus Christ. Shoshana Bean was Judas, and Cynthia Erivo sang the role of Mary Magdalene, and now she is Jesus Christ. She's been getting a lot of backlash on this. People are saying, especially from the right, the Christian right, like, oh, this is blasphemous. You know, what are they doing? How can they do this? All right, let's just break this down. Now, Jesus Christ Superstar, this show has always gotten, you know, backlash when it's done. I love this show. It's one of my favorite shows. But, you know, people, the Christian right especially, has always thought that this is, you know, a very provocative show. And it is. I mean, it's a rock opera about the life and times of Jesus. But, you know, Jesus is portrayed as a very human-like man. I mean, not really the Son of God. He's especially when he sings Gethsemane, there's a lot of anger at God. Like, this is your plan, not mine. I'm going to do it, but I don't really want to. There's a lot of dynamics in this show. And they're meant to just, it's a different retelling of the Gospels, okay? And the way it's always cast is very diverse. Now, I've seen many productions of this cast, and granted, Jesus is usually cast as like the sort of Christian type, what Christians think in the paintings and the sculptures of, you know, the Anglo-Saxon guy, angular features, blue eyes, a long rock star, flowing hair, and then all the other characters are very diverse. John Legend did play him, Jesus, in the NBC Live version. But it's very open to interpretation. It's a very non-conformist show. It's kind of this amorphous, you know, retelling of, it's their version of what the Gospels are. We don't really know what these people looked like. I highly doubt Jesus was a black queer woman, but I think it's safe to say it's not that. But and I have always been a proponent of, if you're going to do a biographical or semi-biographical show, like if you're going to do a Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical, he needs to look like Neil Diamond. If you're going to do MJ the musical, he needs to look like MJ. But this show is different. It's, like I say, it's just always been this show that is a very loosely based show on just the retelling of Jesus Christ, and it's just a very kind of bohemian telling of this show. So of course the right's gonna, you know, do their pearl clutching and, oh my God, what are you doing with this show? And I can't believe you cast her as Jesus Christ. But look, I think we got a lot more going on than a 2-day concert at Cynthia Erivo playing Jesus Christ. I mean, if you want to do some pearl clutching, this is the least of our worries, because we got trouble right here in River City, and this is not it. This is not it. I could go into a host of things this country needs to be worried about right now. The least of which, Cynthia Erivo playing the title role in Jesus Christ Superstar is like a grain of sand on the beach, okay? I mean, if you just want to even just limit it to the world of the arts, we could start with Trump firing the entire board of the Kennedy Center and making himself the head as the sole arbiter now of what is talent. You know, he's bringing in all the people he pardoned for January 6th and giving a concert, and they're going to get to sing their new national anthem. And we're just going to forget about all the honorees that we've ever honored and their true talents and their gifts they've given to society and their legacies. Sure. Or his DEI executive order that just is making the National Endowment Art Center not fund or give grants next year to certain people in different arts and mediums. Cut their funding. Okay, so you see where I'm going? I mean, if they want to get really, really revved up, they could about different things. But no, they're hypocrites, and they're going to choose Cynthia Erivo as their cause to play Jesus Christ. It's just another example of what's going on in our country right now. But I'm not going to get worked up about it. You know, the show, just like any musical, is a piece of art, and it's a 2-day show. Big whoop. They're going to cast it however they cast it. I think she's going to sound great in the role. Personally, I'd like to hear her version of Gethsemane. And anyway, those are my 2 thoughts. It's a show. Get over it. All right, anyway, don't forget to click and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next.